It's Wax Wednesday at the Muse. I'm Rob. Thanks for coming in tonight. We're going to focus on another album that was released in Fredericton. This one came out in 2013. For me personally, it's an album that really sparked something. When you think of the great lost albums of all time, not saying this one's a lost, but when I think of albums like the first Velvet Underground album, and how influential it is now, and how it kind of slid under the radar a little bit at the time. I think this is one of these albums that's just going to have a classic, it's going to be one that's referred to for generations, if you ask me. I think it's that good. And I'm so glad to discuss it here because this album really started and piqued a re-interest in what was going on. Because I knew how creative Fredericton was, but this album really kick-started something for me and made me say something really cool is happening here again. So the album we're talking about tonight, and we have Brydon Crain from the band who's going to join us. It's Motherhood and their 2013 release, Diamonds and Gold. So we'll talk to Brydon here in a few minutes' time on Wax Wednesday. I'm going to pause it right there because it's one of those albums that the songs really are pretty tight together and kind of run together. It's Rob. Welcome back to the Tipsy Muse. I'd like to thank our sponsors tonight for Wax Wednesday. That would be Backstreet Records, Raynemaker Production, and Insurmountable Sounds doing great work tonight for us, making us sound good. Brydon, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's awfully great to have you here. We just heard Dead Water from Diamonds and Gold. How's it like? This is an album now that is 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So how's it feel to like come back here and not only listen to it again but talk about it tonight? Is it awkward? Is it strange?
Not really. It doesn't come up that much. So that's kind of nice.
Well, I know you've got newer material, and believe me, we'll have you back on another night to talk about some other stuff that Motherhood has done, because Motherhood's a very exciting band in the city with great ideas. But this is the one that for me really left a mark. So I really appreciate you coming in here.
For us, for sure.
Yeah, did it open some doors for you? How do you remember it being received at the time? Probably very encouraging, I would think, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it was more, it just made us realize how much we love to record. And like we had been recording EPs and stuff up until then.
Yeah. So
this was the one that we were like, all right, we're gonna go in, we're gonna make kind of the biggest record we can make.
How long did Diamonds and Gold take to make? Because it sounds like you took a long time. Did it take a long time?
Yeah, for a couple, I think once we started it and scrapped it, and then,
there's a few false starts.
Yeah, so we had, that song specifically, we were working on for a while, and I remember we had 16 guitar tracks on it or something stupid, and just looking at it and being like, we're adding all this stuff, it's not working, so we threw it out.
Stripped it away.
Yeah, so once we finally got down to it, it probably took us about a year.
Yeah.
So
was that part of the learning curve though? This was your first big statement as a band, right? So, do you find the process is getting easier for you now, the making of albums and putting them out?
Yeah, because we're just still trying to figure out.
Well, how old were you when you made Diamonds and Gold? How old would you have been?
2013. I would have been 22, yeah.
22.
And some of these songs I remember writing in my parents' house, so I would have been 17.
So teenagers.
Yeah.
So
it's the same, it's the classic thing of first albums, right? You got
your whole life to write the first one and 6 months to write the second, they say. So That's the beauty. I think Motherhood is a band that works on its own timeline. You guys are very focused on your creativity. So there's no rush in putting out albums. You must be finding that too. Everything kind of
Yeah.
comes to you to a degree, right?
Yeah, and we're not going to put anything out that we don't think is fully there. So
Yeah.
it does take some time sometimes to
Right. Yeah. Well, no, that's fair. Of course. Well, you wanna put quality out there, right?
Yeah, and since we've been touring more, it's harder to write as fast. And
Well, tell me about touring. You've taken this. We were just talking while the record was playing, and you've played the States a fair bit, the U.S. Now you said that just makes more sense. It's easier. Explain.
just logistically, cities are closer together.
Yeah.
There's more people. We end up playing a lot of house shows, so there's a lot of kids that want to go out to house shows. Like if you're playing a college town, whereas like here, the closest big city for us to go play is Montreal. So it's 8 hours away, and then after that, it's basically Toronto. Mm-hmm. So in that amount of space, we can go down
can hit
hit
like
Boston,
15
New
cities,
York,
yeah.
like
Is that stuff hard to organize though?
Now that we've been doing it, we have like more connections. I mean, that's more Penny and Kyle's forte.
Right. But is it kind of a throwback to like I remember like if you go back in time prior to the internet and prior to everything being instant, it was a network of fans and there would be small pockets of support where you could always crash on a floor and you'd always back then you would share tapes and you would and there was a lot of letter writing and stuff like that. Is it kind of a throwback to that a little bit?
Yeah, it is kind of like that. It's fun to see how small a music scene actually is, even like across the country, because like it's like we need to play a show in whatever city. There's people we can ask, like who's the person here that's going to help us out and get us a good show, or like the best show we could get, going to a new place and like a place to stay and like whatever. And like there's a lot of people all over Canada as well, but that's what they do. They just like help out touring musicians, and
it's like a network of contacts.
It's the Lord's work.
Yeah. There's a lot of influences I hear on this album. You, when you were growing up, correct me if I'm wrong, you have traveled around a fair bit.
Yeah.
Did you find a lot of the different places you lived or experienced? Well, I hear a world influence on a lot of this stuff on this album.
Yeah, I guess
Can you tell us about some of them? You spent some time in Africa, correct?
Yeah, so my parents were missionaries, so I lived in Kenya from when
How old were you at that point when you went
10 to 15.
Yeah.
So like,
how'd you enjoy that?
it was good. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty different way to have a childhood, but
Interesting.
yeah, I think it made the way I think.
Yeah.
I think it helped that.
Shaped
just
it a
like
little
being,
bit. Yeah.
being somewhere else and realizing that it
Was
a whole big
music
world.
was music a factor when you were in Kenya?
Yeah, I
was it part of your environment? Was it part of something that you
yeah.
would soak in?
Yeah, we'd go out to out to these churches that my dad had to visit and go to these church services that would be like 7-8 hours long.
Really?
Yeah, and like, cause it's like they're like doing a big thing, right? Cause it's like we're having a guest and we're gonna have it's like kind of a party, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a little kid,
It seems like
it's a church service and
seems
you're
like
sitting
forever,
on
yeah.
a little like wooden bench, but the music was really cool. And one thing that I always remember, because like we had heard church music here. I don't know when the last time you heard church music here was, but it's pretty straightforward, bland.
But it's a different.
But they were
story
always
down there.
doing like that beat, and I think that beat made its way onto the record a lot. because just
Well, I'm going to play Abe next, and I
yeah,
think
that,
it's a
that
big
is
part
that
of
beat,
Abe,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So just even just the realization that all of the rules about music that we have here don't apply everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Like even not in Kenya specifically, but in other places, they have like even different notes than we have, or like different scales, right? So like just kind of realizing that you can do a lot more, like.
Yeah. Well, let's play Abe.
All right.
I love this song. Going to set it up for us. Who is Abe?
Well,
is Abe anybody?
No, the title just came because
Oh, you just go, let's
there's
call
a
it Abe.
line, Father Abraham,
Right.
I'm a bastard son, which is a play on an old Sunday school song. I don't know if you know Father Abraham had many sons.
I don't know
You ever
that
heard
one.
that song? No. All right.
It's been
a
a
great
while
song.
since I've been to Sunday school.
It's a good one.
I should go back.
It's a hit.
Probably.
But, so Abraham, I shortened it to Abe. The song's called Abe. It's really
It's
not
Wax Wednesday. We're with Brydon. We're talking about motherhood. And here's Abe. We'll talk more about diamonds and gold here in a few minutes.
Swing my ball, who will let me die? I am horrible to my mother's eyes.
And we're back with Wax Wednesday. Did I cut that off short? I'm always so hair triggered when it comes to like stopping.
Just a little tiny noise part of it.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Man. I didn't get you to complete your vision there. Diamonds and gold. How many copies did you make of that? You kind of trying
I think
to
it was
determine
300.
300 copies.
Yeah.
Why the choice to go with the gold vinyl? Just colored vinyl,
Yeah, I mean, gold
give it
is
a
in the
little cachet.
title, and I don't think it was more expensive. I think we just could choose
Yeah.
to have a different color, and that was like before. I feel like now every vinyl is a colored vinyl, and which is sick, but it felt like a little bit more of a novelty at the time, I think.
Yeah, and at the time when this came out, it was really just when vinyl, the resurgence in vinyl was really starting to really grab hold. So, to have a local piece that was a colored piece of vinyl as well was kind of special at the time. No question about
It
it.
just felt like if we were going to do it,
Yeah,
let's just do it the whole way,
absolutely. Tell me about the artwork. The panel that is the diamond and the panel that is represented in gold. Is that a piece? Is that an art piece?
Penny made that. So she made it for.
I'd have to ask her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she made it for the album
Yeah.
because that she was doing. She did all our covers until Dear Bongo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always just kind of left that up to her because I'm
Right.
not visually artistic at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So she came up with that, and I thought it was cool.
But again, it's a testament to how well-rounded you guys are, in various mediums and various disciplines of art. I know she's a bit of a visual artist as well, right?
Yeah.
So you guys obviously have a great chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I've been working on it for a long time.
Yeah.
But,
How did you guys all meet?
Excuse me.
That's okay. Was that through church as well, or that you met, or is it just a chance encounter?
No, I moved to Belle Isle when I was in 10th grade, and that's where Adam is from. Mm-hmm. So we started playing music together probably when I was in 11th grade or whatever. So then everyone from Belle Isle, who were my friends, all moved to Fredericton. I didn't really know what I was going to do, so I went to music school in Ontario for like
Did you?
6 months.
That wasn't for you?
Nah. And then I just found out the thing about how they had scales in other places, and I was like, I got to get back to the band. So I came back, and Penny was living in the house where everyone lived on Needham Street because they all went to RC. Mm-hmm. And so she just started singing a couple songs with us when we were practicing, and then it just made
snowballed
sense.
from there.
Yeah.
Felt good, obviously.
Yeah, because back then we had two other guys in the band.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Two other Belle Isle guys. So then after they had left, basically this was the first thing we did as a 3-piece. So we had to like figure out all the songs without the extra 4 hands, and then kind of like figure out how we were going to be a 3-piece band, and if it was, or like how much it was going to affect the records too, because like
there's definitely an undercurrent of a theme of religion on the album. What was the message that you, or how were you trying to work that in? What were you trying to say about religion? Or it's a little veiled. I'm not really sure where you're coming from when I hear the lyrics.
I don't know that I was trying to say anything about religion specifically. I think it was more just an easy language for me to speak because I grew up in it.
Yeah.
So a lot of those stories and a lot of the wording even is just what I've been taught, or like, you know, for so long, that it's easy to relate the world that way. So kind of, if I had to say now, and it's hard to say what I thought at the time, the church in that album doesn't represent the church. I think the church represents more just the general world.
Okay.
And it's more of a, where do I fit in this world kind of album, because that was the age I was. And
well, it's a questioning age, 22.
Yeah,
You don't know anything.
The songs were coming from like, you know, like 17 probably until just because like some of the songs were super old, and so it's just kind of that age where I was becoming an adult.
Yeah. Well,
or trying.
It's a very mature record. Like I can't be the first person to say that to you. Like some of these ideas are just fabulous. I know that's probably weird to sit across from someone and just have them throw compliments at you, but I think this is an important record, not only in Fredericton, but in the context of Canada. Like I think this one will, as I mentioned in the introduction, I think this will be referred to for a long time to come. I hope so anyway.
Me too, man.
I hope everybody that bought a Motherhood record starts a band.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be a great idea? Wouldn't that be a great thought?
Oh, yeah, who knows?
Have you had people come up to you and kind of look at you as a, you know, kind of one of the senior bands in the scene now? Because I guess you kind of are.
I don't know if Fredericton's really that much like that. Because
what do you like about being in Fredericton? What do you like about performing here and being a band here?
It's just, I don't know, this is where we're from.
It's a good community.
Yeah.
It's a supportive community.
It's a small enough place that no one's paying that much attention from the outside, so you can do whatever you want to do. I really like that the music scene in Fredericton, it's not like 4 bands that sound like the Kinks or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's doing their own thing, and there's really not even a chance to try to like imitate another band in the scene, because it would just be so obvious.
we have a pretty wide palette here.
Yeah, so it makes the shows more interesting, because it's like, all right, I'm gonna go see like, you know, the Hypos in Forest Fields or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's two completely
totally different
things, but I could see going to that show and it would be sweet.
And it would make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, Brydon, we're going to play Youngest Fool to wrap this. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I can't say enough great things about this record, and
thanks so much.
I really appreciate you coming in here. And I appreciate everybody for coming out to the Muse tonight for Wax Wednesday. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Backstreet Records, Raynemaker Productions, and Insurmountable Sound, who were so insurmountable. You should have seen the problems I was having getting this thing going here tonight.
Bruce
he took
is
care
the
of
guy.
me. That guy right over there. So we're very thankful. We got a show on the go. Hey, Brydon, thanks for coming out tonight, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.